starting here. I can see Kevin, Chuchung, Joshua here, Andrea, Christopher.
We have just started. We are online.
Okay, great. So, guys, can you hear me?
Yes,
Yes,
clearly.
loud and clear.
Okay,
Yes, we
perfect.
can. Yes, we can.
So let me just please add something here in the beginning of this event that we have here today. We all know that the world is changing today, and well, it's changing everywhere. It's changing in CIS countries, in Asian countries, in US, in Europe, everywhere. And it's really hard to make any kind of meetings, offline meetings, online, offline events, to participate, to meet investors, to meet any kind of partnerships for entrepreneurs, for startups. And what we are doing right now, we're doing this online sessions. We are having already second online pitch session. Well, the previous one was last Friday, and we made some adjustments in terms of our technical side. And I hope everyone will be, for everyone, it will be loud and clear in terms of audio and in terms of video for presentation of your projects, of sharing screens. We got this we got this technically available. So please welcome, and I will be happy to hear your projects. Thank you.
Okay, let's start from Kavita Pandey and Christopher from SPARTRON Casino.
Hi, everyone, and thanks for taking the time today, and I hope you enjoy our presentation. Oh, just give us a little sneak peek through there. Okay, so welcome to SPARTRON Casino. We're in association with LATOKEN, and we're basically bringing this forward for you. So I'm the presenter here. My name is Christopher Esprit, Chief Executive Officer of SPARTRON.io, and I'm here with my colleague Kavita.
Kavita Pandey, Chief Operating Officer of SPARTRON.io. So as the world ushered in a new era in 2020, with fresh hopes for the future unknown to anyone, a virus that would sweep the world was on the horizon. The coronavirus, COVID-19, has been on everyone's mind. So the internet has been a pivotal part of the way people have communicated with one another over the last decade. Now with this anonymous problem which has crept into the market, it has created tremendous uncertainty. The crypto community, in light of the 2008 market crash, gave rise to the Bitcoin and decentralized cryptocurrencies. There is a chance to make an opportunity.
So everyone wants to know exactly what's happening at the moment with the industry. So the pandemic poses a serious threat of various industries across the world and across multiple businesses. The casino industry is obviously unspared as well, and the wrath of the menace is still very rife there. Just to give you an idea of these locations, this is Macau. This is currently got, well, it's coming to a point where it's becoming back on its feet, but it's becoming very, very clear that no one really wants to attend these land-based casinos. And of course, we have the very famous Las Vegas Strip, which is completely barren and desolate right now. These are ghost towns, and these used to generate billions and billions of dollars per year for their nations.
The SPARTRON is a next generation platform for iGaming, gambling, and sports betting. We utilize the Tron network blockchain to introduce a new layer of live dealer casino gaming for a fun, fast, provably fair, and immersive gaming experience. We are unlocking a new layer of decentralized gaming in ways never possible before. Players will enjoy live interaction with dealers and other players in one secure, fair, and modern environment.
So what we wanted to do is basically partner with the best. So we've actually got one of our partners, Precision Leads Media, who actually has been working with a very good name in the UK and the US for many, many years. And what they do is they serve advertising and serve CPA market for specifically just before live dealers are coming up. There'll be ads that people can actually generate tokens and be able to receive dividends daily. Or if they want to gamble, they also have the opportunity to receive those dividends as well. So we've got a very good share community going.
The SPARTRON is designed as a new generation platform for live dealer games hosted on the blockchain. Our aim is to become a leading force in the Tron casino community and a unique interactive provider for live dealer games on the blockchain.
We have a wide selection of live dealer roulette games, baccarat, craps, signal, blackjack, and unique house games we'll basically be working with. The iron token is going to be very useful because it will allow people to receive those dividends, which means the casino doesn't always win. We want to share. So how is this affecting the Tron casino market at the moment? So just to give you an idea, this industry is very niche at the moment, but however, with that influx of people coming, I'm sure it's going to be quite busy. Kavita, can you just explain and see what we're seeing?
Yeah, so I mean, in an environment which is so uncertain, where businesses are closing down, and very sadly, most industries are affected. We have a relatively stable industry out here, which is the online gambling and casino industry. And this is quite evident from the statistics here, which has been drawn from DAP's radar today, where our peers are posting pretty healthy numbers and good turnover, except for the user scale.
So obviously we're looking to allocate funds of 20 million to iron coins. Each coin at the moment in our private round will be 25 cents. And then after that, when we go to the IEO stage, we'll be at 45 cents. But Kavita, can you explain exactly how that allocation will be spent, please?
Yes, so most of this would actually go towards meeting operational costs, technology development, getting licenses and compliances, and marketing.
So of course, the revenue forecast is really important. So we've covered that as well.
So, I mean, just to give you an idea, we are aiming to raise about $7 million through the private sale and the IEO process, and through investments across different platforms, games, technology, and having user traffic. We expect to multiply this number to 100 million by October 2020 to 2021, posting healthy gains for our investors.
So of course, the most important thing is what's on the project menu. So we've got the games that we're basically looking into at the moment, and we've basically been able to partner with some excellent companies. So we have live sports betting, esports, live dealers. Those table games will be virtual as well as interactive, so people will be able to engage with our players and our games as well. Mining games, which is where people will be able to make their money on a revenue basis, and of course VR games. That's correct. Virtual reality games where you'll be there in front of the dealer and having that live dealer experience. But also what we're going to be doing is obviously offering jackpots, deals, bounty programs, and our Warrior Dice is a game that's 24/7. You can mine our token and make revenue from that as well. So our in-house game selection is going to be very, very interactive, keeping that share model going and thriving.
What makes SPARTRON different from other types of casinos? Well, we've got the decentralized platform, blockchain-based solutions, instant gaming, and access to new markets.
And of course, the roadmap. So what was really interesting in our point of view is we wanted to get everything active. Of course, this is now a thing that's come up. The coronavirus is basically something where people have been forced in home. So therefore, we've got the opportunity to make sure that people can make an extra living, extra revenue through our model. So this is quite useful. And that will come into play as of May 2020. But we're obviously looking to expand and really become a household name over the coming year.
So just introducing the team again. Well, Christopher's already introduced himself. He's a co-founding member and the brain behind the conception of SPARTRON. We've got a founding member, Steve Pritchard, who's also the marketing director at SPARTRON. And I have 30 years of experience in managing operations, insurance, and finances with multinational companies.
Now, at the beginning, as you saw, there was an opportunity. So we're doing a one-time webinar bonus where we will airdrop an extra 20% iron coins when anyone takes action today. So you've got an opportunity to go to the launchpad, and we look forward to working with you and obviously growing with you. As I said, with the casino that we're looking to produce, it's not about the house always wins, it's about the house always shares. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you. So the second project we are having right now will be represented by Andrea Santi, Giorgia Guidetti, Maxim Gaina from Habits Project.
Good morning. I'm Giorgio Guidetti. I'm the CTO of Habits. I'm going to share my screen so you can see the pitch. Okay. Can you see my pitch correctly?
No, not for right now. We can only see a screen.
Okay, so wait.
No pitch deck so far.
Wait. Okay, can you see the pitch
Yes.
now?
Yes, we can see that.
All right.
So you have 5 minutes. Please go ahead.
Okay, so Habits is the world's first augmented reality fashion e-commerce, and it's powered by blockchain. So when we started in 2017, we started to develop this augmented reality fashion e-commerce because we wanted to combine our passion for the fashion industry and the huge hit that augmented reality was having in 2017 with the advent of ERKit and the augmented reality frameworks. So Habits is born with customers in mind, and our mission is to give back to shoppers what they deserve, which is the right to try before they buy. So what basically we're building is an app and a smart mirror. So our app is developed for Android and iOS devices and enables users to try on, like Instagram filters basically, sunglasses, earrings, necklaces, and hats, and many more products will come later stage, such as rings, watches, and so on. The Habits Mirror instead is a full device where users will be able to try on both clothes and accessories. The third main product that we are developing is the admin panel, which basically is the place where everybody manage the online presence on Habits. So you can upload the 3D models of your products, you can launch marketing campaigns, you can edit your content there. So to go a little bit more in a focus, please wait while the slide loads. Okay, so the app has been developed since 2018. Now we have beta, which will be available in roughly 1.5 months, only for iOS for the moment, and then for Android too. And in this application, you will be able to try in real time fashion accessories like Instagram filters, like Snapchat. So our aim is to become like a Snapchat of fashion. Instead, the mirror, as we have said, for the time being, is just a proof of concept. So we were able to obtain good results by a good mix of our own proprietary software and top-tier hardware. But let's get to the tokenization point. So we have developed our own proprietary system for marketing campaigns. So the HBX token basically works like cost per try-on. So brands in 2019 and 2020 had many problems because the raising customers acquisition costs makes impossible for fashion brand to come into this industry. So at Habits, we have developed this system where brands allocate tokens to a fashion campaign, and afterwards the tokens will be deducted only when the product is seen by somebody. So we are proud to cost less than acquiring customers on traditional social channels, and most probably we will cost less than acquiring a customer through retail. This is how it works. So you go to the Habits admin panel and you decide that you want to show these products to 100 people, and then you allocate 100 HBX token. The blockchain guarantees that each time a customer sees a product, 1 HBX token will be deducted from your wallet, and all the wallets come back to Habits. Basically, this enables us to provide KPIs of higher value, because we can definitely check out if one ad content has been seen from one real people. What Habits also will do is to reduce the overproduction and the counterfeiting, which is a big hit in the fashion industry, by tokenizing each piece of fashion and enabling independent designer to pre-sell fashion products that haven't been produced yet. And by turning the supply chain into a demand chain, we will be able to fight at least a bit of this highly polluting industry, which is the fashion industry. This is the supply chain revolution we are planning to launch. which enables fashion brand not to go to a classic process, which means call sheet products is shipped to the agency and is being photo shoot and then is uploaded manually on the e-commerce. But on Habits, you can just upload the 3D model of your fashion product if you have it. If you don't have it, we will provide it. And basically in 24, 48 hours, you can streamline all these old process to a new one, which is greener, because you don't have to send back products if they're damaged and whatever. This is our team, so it's me and Andrea and many other people which are working on Habits. And this is our roadmap. So we are planning to launch the application for iOS and Android, which will enable people to, as I've said, try on fashion accessories for the face filters in Q4 2020. And in the first half of 2021, this is a typo, the hands filters and sneakers filters will be available as well. And the second stage, we want to launch our virtual shopping assistant, which is a chatbot that helps you choose the best size and the best product for yourself. And this is a tacit warranty that sponsored product will be seen very quickly. The Habits Mirror is planned for 2022 and 2023. The Habits Marketplace is nonetheless what I was talking earlier. So the possibility to sell products that haven't been produced before and to tokenize and to patent their designs on the blockchain in order to be able to exchange the propriety of one tokenized fashion product that hasn't ever been produced before. So if there are any questions.
Okay, thank you so much. We now have the third project, and after that we'll have the feedback from our pitch competition judges.
Okay,
so
thank you very much.
We have Kevin Alexander Paul Kuchman from Freemark with us. Kevin, you have 5 minutes. Please go ahead.
Application window. I don't want to share that. I want to share my, hold on a sec. Give me a chance here. I get a little technical glitch. It's not showing up my my PowerPoint app. We just go a moment.
Okay.
Can you see my presentation now?
Yes, we can. No, we can't.
Okay.
We can see your screen.
Yes. Okay. Super. Okay. Thank you. Yes, I'm Kevin Kirchman, CEO of World Free Corporation, and we're developing a new digital currency called Freemark.
I can't see anything.
You can't see anything. Okay. You can't see anything.
Sorry, Kevin, I can't see anything. I can see you're sharing it. I can see myself in your screen, I think. It says you're sharing the screen. Is pause share that green thing? That's what I'm seeing.
Can you see this? Can you see Freemark now?
No.
No.
No. Okay, like I said, I'm going to do it again. I'm going to stop the share. And hey, Sheshan, your picture is showing up. You might want to turn yourself off here.
Okay.
Yeah,
I just stopped my video.
Yeah, something's wrong because I'm not. It doesn't show my application. I'm going to tell you what. I'm going to tell you what. Let me see. Share screen, and it worked before, and now it doesn't show up in my. What is this? You understand what's happening? It doesn't show the application in the share screen application window. It doesn't show PowerPoint, so it doesn't work as it was. I have a feeling I might need to leave the meeting and come back unless you all have a better idea. Are you there?
Please do.
Okay, I'll do that real fast. Okay.
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 Thank you.
Bye.
Good luck, Kevin.
Yep. Thank.
Okay, so we see that Kevin had some tech issues. From our side, I'm sure it was possible to do that, right? And yeah, let's wait for a moment. I'm sure it's going to be fast. I hope so. Well, Elena, what do you think if we will discuss previous two projects that already spoken or will we wait for Kevin to connect? Oh, we can see. Kevin, we can see you. Okay, so we're waiting for Kevin to connect. So it looked like it was fast, but we cannot see Kevin right now with us. So not to wait, should we discuss previous two projects? Elena, what do you think? Is it going to be according to our plan or not?
It was not, but we can change it right now. I'd like to ask our judges to introduce themselves. We have Joshua Anthony and Chi Chang Chang with us. Joshua, can you please introduce yourself and tell us a bit about your fund and give your short feedback to those two projects that you've seen? Oh, I'm sorry. I think we can see Kevin and his pitch deck right
Okay,
now.
so
Okay, we'll pause that for now then. All right.
Yes, sorry. Kevin, we can see your pitch deck. Would you like to start right now? Can you switch on your mic?
yes, Kevin, we can see your screen, but we cannot hear you.
Oh, you cannot hear me.
Yes,
Now we
now we can.
Now you can. Okay. So I had to do a couple things there to fix it up. So I had to close the browser window and reopen that. Anyway, okay. So are you ready now?
Yes, we are.
Okay, great. Okay. So I'm Kevin Kirchman. I'm CEO of World Free Corporation, and we're developing the Free Mark, which is a new digital currency. And the Free Mark has three advantages. Firstly, it provides an opportunity for a venture scale return on an investment. Well, this is important and different because the Free Mark is a stable currency pegged to a basket of 20 commodities. Now, if you think about a stable coin, as you've all heard, well, if the value of the currency is stable, then how will anyone make money with the given cryptocurrency paradigm? So that's a real important issue. So I'll explain how we do that. And furthermore, I show how the Free Mark differs from other stable coins because we're protecting wealth from the with respect to the goods and over the long term from currency devaluation. Okay, so first I'll address the proprietary way in which we pay our users of the Free Mark. We have a mathematical function that pays out and is highly biased toward early. Let me just make this full screen here. Is highly biased toward early investors. Okay, and in the green there, you say this. It's the maximum exposure for our firm is 6% of the money supply. Okay, so that's important. So how this works is you see is about 15 times the investment return for when the Free Mark achieves a market capitalization of $2.5 billion, which is about 1% or 2% of the Bitcoin. Okay, so that's the payout, but we expect about paying out half of that because of that 6% would be our cost, and we cover our costs by investing most of the money that we sell the Free Mark for in financial assets. Okay, now this is why the currency is a stable currency is important. You all know from the Bitcoin when the Bitcoin is rising in value, the owners of Bitcoin don't want to spend it, because why would they do that? It's going to be worth less tomorrow. And likewise, when the Bitcoin is going down in value, then buyers and sellers of goods don't want to really accept it, or they have to raise their prices, which is called inflation. Well, we know that for the Bitcoin, and these two forces of volatility up and down are stunting the crypto economy, which is a really serious thing when we're looking to get wider scale adoption of digital currencies. Now, this graph basically is of the euro and the US dollar. It shows you that these also are unstable, where we have deflation and inflation, sometimes 7% or more in a month, or 2% in a day, like we've witnessed recently. Well, this is also stunting the global economy of larger use of fiat. So this is a real important issue: is that fiat currencies are stunting the global economy because of their volatility relative to one another. Okay, so now this is a question of feasibility. Okay, this is a price of a pound of coffee since 1776 in the U.S. Well, they don't grow coffee in the U.S. This is a reasonable comparison. So, but it shows that over 5 generations, when the dollar was pegged to gold, the wealth was preserved. So that meant if you made $10,000 in one time in your life, if you save your money, your grandchildren would still be worth $10,000. You see here the Fed was founded in 1913, and you see the erosion of the purchasing power of money over that time. So again, importantly, it is possible to have a stable currency. We just are unfamiliar with it because we've been caught in the paradigm that exists. And just to give you a little background, World Free, my background, my father founded a banking software company in 1968. Eventually, it was the largest banking software firm in the United States. So I worked all over his firm, started programming professionally at about 15 years old. Then I got at Cornell. I was my thesis in engineering school was AI applications in engineering, and I decided that we needed a science of epistemology, or a theory of knowledge, before we're going to have successful AI. I spent about 10 years developing a new theory of knowledge, new theory of deduction, new theory of concepts, new theory of induction, new theory of validation, new theory of lexicology, which is theory of meaning. Anyways, I wrote a book, did some work did some grad school at London School of Economics, wrote a book, then returned to my original tasks and built the company World Free. And we developed natural language reasoning technology, which facilitates rational dialogue with computers. We had commercial clients, and we have a very valuable technology that is going to be demanded for computer access in the future. We've got a very talented team of people. Paul is a venture capitalist out of Australia, very seasoned, and all of our people are very good and appropriate for our project. This is a competitive analysis, just to put it on to give you an overview of in comparison. But what's important to understand, the free market is connected to commodities, not to other currencies, and many stable coins are connected to different currencies. Okay, so this is a scientific volatility, and these are the commodities. You can see the various different commodities. The idea is that if coffee prices go up because there's big rains in Colombia, it doesn't affect the price of iron ore in Australia. So the forces of volatility from each of the commodities don't affect, and over the lot of them they average out. So what you're trying to do is, if you're in Argentina and you have 15% inflation, it means that next year you have to pay 15% more for whatever you buy than you did this year. So that's a problem. Now, because the governments are getting ready to do massive QE because of the coronavirus, we can see that people are going to start thinking, wow, we need something to preserve our value of our money, because this is about to go crazy. We could have hyperinflation, all kind of problems might ensue. So we have a big opportunity. So just to give you an idea of the opportunity we're pursuing, this little gold coin over there is Bitcoin, and that's really too far to the right. This is the innovation adoption life cycle. We need to cross the chasm and gain major adoption by many users, or we're going to lose our opportunity as digital currencies. People don't wail around forever, and we could become an 8-track tape if we don't watch it, if we don't come up with a solution to the volatility problem as well as the scalability problems, which we address as well. So that's what we're focused on. And because of the lockdown of the global economy, and people don't want it, they don't want to use cash. They're not going to be happy using central bank digital currencies because they don't trust their governments, and they're worried about the the governments, to basically, if you had a central bank digital currency tomorrow, the governments, you could wake up and they decided we're going to cut everybody's wealth down by half. And so we can't have that. We need to have a free market of competing currencies. We don't necessarily have to be the world's only currency. In fact, we don't really expect that or want it, frankly. We just want to be a successful, a gold standard of digital currencies. Okay, so we have a rollout, a plan. We're a bit unique in this regard. We are selling books right now on Amazon, and we have one out in 2 weeks and one is out in 30 days. These are radical books. People are buying them. They like them. And what we're going to do is build out our marketing tools to sell books to people. Well, what does that mean? It means that we're building the tools that are needed to sell goods to online and expand the market for these products. So these are going to be incorporated in our current app, and we're going to be developing them and designing them for use for our own products, so that we actually know, we can see the feedback. And so right now we're on Amazon. Soon we'll be delivering our books through our IP through the FreeMark app. And this means that all kind of IP, because of the nature of the EPUB files, all kind of IP, media files, all kind of stuff can be sold. And eventually, over here on the left, the investing will be able to do financial trading of assets. We actually allow that in our app today. So this is a way of making sure that we're using the FreeMark for actual goods and services. So we have to roll out and develop a circular use case for the money, so that it becomes a real medium of exchange. Okay, that's real important. This is some pictures of the app as it is today. I don't want to get into the too much. You can see on the fourth picture there is the commodities and their daily value, which is updated at a random time for each thing. And we're actually able to here's on the second picture there is purchasing some Intel shares with FreeMarks. You can also use the Intel shares that you just bought to purchase some coffee or some gold or to buy some Canadian dollars. So it's a very flexible application. And the leftmost screen there shows the royalties and how people can earn money on the curve that I showed you initially. So this is our funding plan, okay, and this is our functionality release schedule. You see over here on the far right in the second line, it says NLR demo. That's natural language reasoning. That's when we reintroduce the technology that was already developed for commercial purposes and used by real people and thousands of people. This is a technology IBM actually offered to buy. So this is when we reintroduce our rational interface to computers. So that's a real exciting point, and what we're driving this fundraising for. These other things are there other goals as we move forward. Okay, and these are yeah.
We have limited time. Sorry to interrupt you.
Okay, this is basically the end. Okay. Okay, that's the idea, and so we're kicking off and raise capital for our project so that we can carry out our business plan and model with our great team. Thank you.
Thank you, Kevin. Thank you so much. So now I'm asking Joshua and Chichang to give their short feedback, and prior to that, save and send me this Google Doc that I've sent you. Hi, Joshua. Can you please introduce yourself?
Of course. My name is Joshua Anthony. I'm the director of the Stratospheric Acceleration Program. Essentially, we are a fully virtual acceleration program for startup companies in their pre-MVP and MVP go-to-market ready setting. I'm also the chief of business development for a company called Cloudy Boss. Now, Elena, should I get into my feedback of the companies or?
Just a short feedback, just a short introduction of your company is good.
Okay. So yes, with Stratospheric, our focus is to accelerate startup companies virtually. We're investing anywhere between $50,000 to $100,000 in different forms of value, and the focus of it is to allow companies to scale internationally in a very convenient format, especially in these sensitive times with the coronavirus. So we feel as if that acceleration will be virtual even post coronavirus pandemic due to the international scaling of it all. We also help our cohort and investees build international teams via our business model. And that's pretty much it. I could definitely share more information about what we're doing in a private conversation.
Sure. So yes, and please your feedback right now. What do you think about the projects that you just heard?
Of course. So I'll start with SPARTRON.io. I think that you guys are in a great direction with the online gambling scene. I think that you're certainly in the right place at the right time. I'm just a bit concerned about the complexity of someone who will get.
You're breaking up a bit, Joshua.
I'm sorry, Joshua, you're breaking up. Yes.
Are you able to hear me?
You weren't, unfortunately. If you wouldn't mind recapping, that would be wonderful.
Of course, yeah. Sorry about that. So essentially, everything's very clear. It's a good market. It's certainly a easier barrier of entry in these current times. I'm wondering how easy it is for the user to actually access their cryptocurrency wallet and transfer their cryptocurrencies, thus Iron Token, I believe, into a tangible fiat currency. Obviously, fiat's not going anywhere anytime soon. So I'm wondering the ease of use for online gamblers, as we see them to be today.
Well, our situation will be, well, for example, the users will be available on TRX anyway. So we're on the Tron network. So we'll be available through LATOKEN. So people can purchase through LATOKEN and then be able to buy the tokens. We will be on multiple different exchanges, including DEXs as well. So we'll make ourselves available. It's just a matter of being available to the marketplace.
So basically, because the convertibility is there to Tron, and has a very good conversion to both and Ether.
I think we lost sound.
Yeah, we lost you, Christopher.
Has a very good conversion to both Bitcoin and Ether, so it is going to be fairly sort of convertible.
No.
But what we're saying is,
It's very good to Tron, and Tron has a
there isn't very much concern when it comes to the transition at all.
Can't hear you, Christopher.
Yeah.
Okay.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so I've just made the bandwidth simple. So basically, we will be making our token available to the LATOKEN exchange,
Okay.
as well as multiple different exchanges and DEXs as well. So it will be available and very freely available to basically swap and do atomic swaps across multiple different exchanges. So accessibility.
Well, so Tron being a very viable sort of currency, that means that the conversion is very easy. Tron and to Bitcoin.
Yes.
Okay, you're
Did you guys hear me on that?
Breaking up in the last bit, but I think I got you. So yes, in that regard, are you offering some sort of API to access buying tokens on platform, or are you relying upon the client to leverage external platforms to buy tokens?
So the way we'll be doing it is we'll be making it possible for people to come onboarding from us. For example, we'll probably do an API with LATOKEN where people can go straight in, purchase the tokens, and then they'll be able to use those. Also, the mining token, which is the iron bar, not the iron coin, that will also be available after 50% of that is mined. This just means that it's also another lucrative opportunity. So people have a constant dividend flow every time that they're engaging with our casino.
Okay, for sake of saving some time, I think my final feedback is may make it easy, as you already plan on doing, for everyone to access the tokens on platform, have a very easy atomic swap, liquidation process. And if, of course, when you're targeting your markets via Google advertisements, social media advertisements, of course, Vegas, Macau, Philippines, so on and so forth are your markets, obviously. So I think there's some potential there.
Thank you.
Moving on to habits, the augmented reality for fashion. Everything was quite clear on the vision regarding the software itself being an application using VR on Android and iOS. However, it wasn't really so clear what the whole business strategy behind the actual physical mirror. Are you hardware manufacturers? Are you outsourcing manufacturing? When do you plan to implement the mirror in full force, or is that more of a vision versus a reality?
Okay, so thank you, Joshua, for your question. So thank you for saying that the business strategy for the application was clear. For the Habits Mirror, I specified that the scheduled launch date is 2022. And at the moment, we were able to develop our own software, which runs on a rig, a PC. So we will purchase components from third parties, and we will be able to produce our own physical mirror by combining these parts with these third-party points we can take on the market. So the software is of Habits, and the hardware is not. Okay, so we are testing out different solution and different combination because, as you very well imagine, it's very, very big. It's a very difficult thing to do, and that is why we decided to test the feasibility of the project through a niche that could be scaled up, which is the accessory niche.
Okay, and now in that regard, for the whole platform itself, the application in the mirror aspect, is it more a B2C business model, or is it more B2B dealing with fashion brands at a corporate level?
Yeah. Thank you. I realize now that part was not very clear. So on the application, the brands will be able to register themselves on the admin panel. They will be able to upload their 3D models or request a digitalization, and Habits will take a fee. A fee for every purchase. So Habits does not ship, as Habits does not have any warehouse. So it is a B2B2C basically for the application. For the mirror, instead, we will first test the package through business logic. So in showrooms and retail. And afterwards, we want to distribute the mirror inside the people's houses. So the top level of our achievement is to become the first fashion store inside people's houses.
Okay, I see part of the vision. I think that as a final feedback, definitely make it very clear for the user when it comes to any upfront costs, obviously, and when it comes to the fashion brands, consider of course probably a SaaS model is already implemented, but with the SaaS model, of course, give different tiers of the different amounts of fashion being implemented. Of course, you have a very, very smart co-branding opportunity. If you sell the large fashion brands, that's very clear. When it comes to scalability with the mirror, I think having the correct hardware manufacturer who can build on demand at a very fast pace is crucial. So pick your hardware manufacturer wisely in this case. And when it comes to really identifying the correct markets, obviously, Paris, London, New York, I think you have a pretty clear idea.
Well, we're Italians, so.
Oh, there you go, Milan. Fair enough. Okay,
yeah,
that's start from home. Okay. All right.
Thank
so
you very
that's
much
pretty
for your
clear.
feedback.
All right. Yeah. With pleasure, yes. And moving along to you, Kevin. So everything is also quite clear in the application and process you're working with your company. I was a bit confused about how this cryptocurrency is being pegged to the commodities and physical asset market. Is this more so a collective pool of investors who own, let's say, X amount of oil, gold, so on and so forth? Or is this pegged to the market itself, and your algorithms are essentially, mastering the actionable price value of this token as per the real market price of these commodities and assets?
Right. Okay, Joshua, thanks for the good question. Obviously, any real project has to have a pretty sophisticated solution if it's going to actually deliver on its potential. So the free market is pegged to a basket of 20 commodities, as I said, but it's important to understand that it's not backed by the commodities. It is pegged by the commodities. It is backed by a, okay, I'll explain how the pegging occurs, but first I'll explain how it is backed by wealth. Okay, so we are setting up a trust fund that basically is legally constrained to only to provide liquidity for free market users. So we have a amount of every free market purchase is put into this fund, and it is managed like a university endowment on a prudent and conservative manner, as wealth behind the money, which is important and unique. So it's not fiat behind the free market; it is wealth behind the free market, or behind the free market, invested in assets that are valued on their net return. Okay, so this is important because we've got to provide a value in preserving the wealth that people have, and we've got to peg it to the physical world. It cannot be arbitrary. Okay, so that the wealth is really important. So that discretionary trust fund is established, or to be established, in Bermuda with hundreds of year-old trust laws, and as a discretionary fund, it is not owned by the owners of the free market, but it cannot be used for any other purpose than providing liquidity for free market owners. So we can't be sued by half a dozen communists because they want to take down the currency. It is separate and independent, which are all real issues I have to deal with. Now, let me, so you can ask me a question on that, or I can return now to the pegging. So every day, the commodities, they all have new prices based upon the market volatility, and again, the supply and demand issues for that particular commodity. So we select, the system automatically chooses at a random time, once per day, for each commodity, a different time, and that becomes the basis for the free market price, which is frankly a 12-month moving average. Okay, so this is the manner in which the pegging occurs, but it is not backed by the commodities. We are required as a fund to invest for net returns, and also to make sure that we are hedged for exposure to the different currencies that our users are transferring in and out of, as well as the exposure to the commodities, because we're providing a hedge against inflation.
Kevin, sorry to interrupt.
Okay.
We have time for
excuse me.
Sorry. 5 minutes, just to keep in line.
Okay.
Well,
Okay.
to give feedback fairly quickly. So in regards to the pegging of your cryptocurrency to the commodities market and the specific asset pools, so you're saying that the pegging happens once per day per asset. If that's the case, isn't there a conflict of interest if the market crashes in that day and people place their orders and they're pushing their money into a certain asset or into this coin? Wouldn't there be sort of a, let's say, a dissonance in wanting to invest in the platform if it's not real-time pegging? And the second question is, when it comes to this wealth fund being associated and backed, backing this coin, essentially every user who is a customer of yours will be in this fund itself, thus have liquidity of the token. That's very clear. So the question is, why have you picked Bermuda? Why not, I don't know, Malta, or why not, Switzerland, so on and so forth?
Well, Bermuda has, like I say, some of the oldest trust laws. We have to have an independent trustee who could go to jail, and if the trust terms of the trust are violated, that's the manner in which it's regulated. And again, it has to follow the law according to the liquidity standards of the trust. Okay, I'm not sure what the other question was.
In regards to the token being pegged, not backed, but pegged to the commodities market, and you mentioned the updates are happening once per day. Is that not a conflict of interest if the updates are not in real time?
Well, they're not. okay, so just say that the coffee price was going through the roof because whatever. Okay, so you don't know what time that coffee price will be chosen because it's not known. It's done by the computer at a random millisecond. You can't possibly know what the price is, but that price is averaged over 20 commodities, and so you don't really know. I mean, whatever. I mean, you could have a situation like you do now where all the commodity prices are going up because people perceive the US dollar value going down. Well, that's our problem. That's sort of our job. So we have to be prudent in our management of the fund to preserve the wealth. But we got to remember the US dollar has zero assets behind it. Best you'll get from the Treasury is if you give them a 20 is 2 10s. There's nothing there. You can't go to the U.S. Treasury or the Bank of England and say, hey, my money's not worth what it used to be. They'll say, tough. Well, would you like change? You don't. So what we're trying to do is go from 0 to 100 and 110% one day, hopefully. But for beginnings, we have a schedule where it starts now at 65%, goes up to 95% when we get over 25 million raising capital, then or to 90%, and then to 95 when we get over 250. But so that's the kind of percentage of the money that we actually put in the fund. So some part of it is used for startup and building. But anyways, that's to answer your question.
Okay. For final feedback is definitely double down on the education process, as you already perceive. The books are great. I recommend that you make videos, tutorials, so on and so forth, of how to use the platform, of how the market is pegged to it. Definitely focus on the education. That's very, very important, as you know.
Yeah, I think it's a great opportunity, as you recognize there, Joshua. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you, Kevin. Thank you, Joshua. We have one more judge, Chichong Cheng.
Hi, hi everyone.
Hi. Yes,
hi.
we can hear you. We can see you.
Okay, great. I'll just give you a bit of background. The AVM ecosystem, I'm the founder and the CEO. It's a ecosystem of traditional financial assets that's being tokenized. And it's a closed ecosystem because we're regulated. You can call it security tokens. And currently we have a Euro money market fund that's up and running. And then we're also setting up other funds. Included would be a venture fund that would look at opportunities like this. Is that so? I should go into feedback. I think, well, first of all, I think Joshua asked a lot of the questions already, but I still have further some work. No problem. Thanks for asking the questions. And no, first of all, on the first project, I'd like to know more about I think, first of all, I think the first project, the market's great. I mean, all three projects, the market potential is huge. And for the first one, I'm a bit confused about 2 points. One is, what is the current market landscape like in the casino side, and how, like, what's your advantage? What's your strength so you can take over, so you can enter into the market? And secondly, I'm still not sure how the tokens will be valued.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay, I'm going to close my camera so that you get no feedback. If anyone can mute their mic, it'll probably be clearer, so you won't have that echo. That's okay. Great. Okay, so yeah, so the advantage, what we're going to be doing, as far as the market is concerned, right now, obviously the blockchain casino industry is, it's been quite viral in the last sort of 2 years. Usually it was a thing of the gaming market because of the speed. Now, Bitcoin could come down as a marketplace. So we're basically focusing solely on the TRC20 token. And the
I can't hear you.
Can you hear me?
Now I can.
Okay, great. So yeah, so we've chosen the TRC20 token, which is with Tron, so that we can have the proof of stake model. There was a brand, there was a couple of brands that did very well on those particular speed lines, and we've discovered kind of in our research that this is the best way. Tron, not only that, it's got quite a big markets, and there's a lot of scope because they've now just sort of took over. I think originally they're involved in BitTorrent, which is another big portion of the market. As well as that, they're just about to take over Steemit, which is the social media and social network portion of their brand. So this particular TRX is going to start escalating across the globe for sure. Their reach means that once they start having that kind of logistics in place, then obviously gaming won't be a problem as far as that market share is concerned. So we've looked at that as an avenue. But secondly, the TRX side of it, what we do is we basically allow people to have a staking, which means that all they do is anything that they get, for example, they could just gamble with us. The Iron coin is then frozen on our platform, and every day you get TRX from the network because it's proof of stake. So the best part is you can basically upload, you can basically have lots and lots of tokens with us. Freeze those. You don't game. If you want to gamble, you can, but there's lots of different means in which we're looking to exponentiate that revenue stream. So for example, when people are playing live dealers, just before you play the live dealers, we're going to serve our customers, our users, with a 30-second video. Now, if they watch that video throughout those 30 seconds, this means that they'll have the ability to actually have extra currency, which will be able to freeze and stake again. So as you can see, it's a constant share model. We want to really build that economy so that the house doesn't always win. We want to share. And I think this is good because in the current day-to-day model in Macau and for example, in Las Vegas, once you hand over your money they give you a chip and you get nothing in return, the chances are you're gambling. With us, we're looking to share and have that opportunity. So it's kind of a stake in the casino. I mean, imagine if you could go into a casino and say, right, I want to be a part of this as a director. You've got the opportunity. It means you've got a share of the business. Well, we thought that at a ground level, especially with the blockchain market, this is such a new market. This would be a great opportunity for people to do the same thing. So it's really a case of having the share model go forward before the casino model, because after all, like we said, at this present time, it is obviously a grave concern with the world at the moment, but at the same time, people will be able to make revenue because then they can actually have that TRX and exchange it for Bitcoin and then exchange it for their local currency. So there's always an in and out.
Christopher, we lost you again. We can't hear you.
Now. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Can you hear me?
Can.
Okay.
Yes, now
great.
we can.
So great. So as far as valuation is concerned, we've basically positioned it so that it works out at basically 25 TRX, which is 25 cents. And that's our first point of call, which is going to be our private sale for 5 million tokens in our private round. And when we go to the IEO stage, we're going to be basically pricing it at 45 cents. And the reason we know that we can basically do that is because we're only releasing 100 million tokens, which means there's going to be very, in short supply. And that is intending to keep the economy thriving, making sure people want to either hold onto the tokens, play games with us, or watch video ads with us. And this means we've got lots of different avenues in which people can actually have an economy. So instead of having like trillions of coins, which we just didn't look into, we want to have limited supply because the valuation is in a limited supply. But of course, there will be opportunity for us to, have much more vast finances on the actual coin itself, the price point, as well as that the price we know is going to be fluctuating. So that cannot be, dealt with. But what we do know is, as long as we sustain a good brand, then the brand will be able to speak for itself. Kavita?
And the iron bar. So.
Yeah, and of course, the iron bar, after 50% of that is mined, which is when the gaming takes place, then that goes back into circulation, and that will be available on exchanges and dexes as well. So we really want to make sure that everyone can, do well from the industry. We've seen it working with other brands, and they are doing very, very well. And I think that, for example, there was a brand called Wink that have just recently done an IEO last year. And I think it was about 6 months ago, sorry, my mistake. And those guys raised $16 million. They did very well. They're on the Tron blockchain and they're very well. So with our intention, the USP with us is we're putting ads in front of it. So we can basically have that, revenue stream from there. Okay.
Great. Thank you. Hello?
Okay.
Yeah. Just one more point to add to what Christopher has just, highlighted very, well. I would say that the basis of valuation, and as the market sort of grows, the basis of valuation would be really, one is the perception of the industry, perception and performance of the industry, and the perception of how this token would be comparing with the tokens of the peers. That is one. Second aspect is all going to be related with the profitability of the casino. And we have put in a lot of products, so we're working a lot on the traffic, mobilizing the traffic onto the website. We'll be having dividend models. We'll be having FOMO jackpots, different sorts of competitive competition, which is going to keep on creating the spin and mobilizing the traffic onto the casino. A large part of the funds which we are going to be raising is going to be towards the technology development and towards business development and marketing. So that's how we are going to generate the returns, and we promise to our investors a very, very good yield over a period of time. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I think we move on. It's clear now. I think I'll move on to habit. The second page. I think habit again. I think it's a good model. It's just a question. What's the price point of that mirror? And I think that's one. And like, how big is this? Because are you trying to get? I guess the goal is it trying to have everybody have one mirror at home so they can just go shopping online?
Okay, so it is quite early to to say which is the price point, because we have yet to build one physically, and we have very long road ahead. That's why I was mentioning before we decided to develop the application first, because the application is the way we understand in which way we need to move forward correctly by testing the market through the augmented reality for accessories. Then afterwards, we will be able to make a clear assessment based on the demand, on the enthusiasm of our community and our customers, and we will surely understand which is the best way to correct. But this, for the business to business, we are planning to make it affordable, so it is something we can distribute to high-end, but not only only luxury retailers. For the business to consumer, obviously this is going to be high luxury products, so the price target will be high. I cannot tell you now how much it will be, and it will be something very limited. So that is our strategy for the time being. If the market enables us to move forward in this direction, then we will surely understand if there are the possibility to distribute this mirror to everybody's house by lowering the price and multiplying the availability.
So at this point in time, you said you have proof of concept, right?
Yes.
So I just looked at your presentation. You took sunglasses as an example. So right now, I think I saw a phone with somebody wearing a pair of sunglasses.
Mm-hmm.
So at this point in time, do you have this prototype that can actually already see? I can look at my iPhone and say, I want to buy those pairs of sunglasses. What does it look? What do they look like on me?
Okay, so this is the app. Okay, you see it?
Yeah.
Okay, so you go and you can try on accessories, hat, earrings, and necklaces. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Then you go and you select one pair of glasses. And you click on 3D Try Now. And then what happens is it is very difficult to let you see this. But wait.
No, I guess my question is also, how does it work with the size and shape of your head?
Okay, so each product is created by following one scale. So the scale is the perfect size of the product. Then we
Georgia,
will.
I'm sorry, your sound is doubled. Could you check what's wrong with your PC?
It
Are your
is my.
headphones connected?
Yes, they are.
Now it's better.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes, now it's clear. Thank you.
Okay, so each product is created by following a 1-to-1 scale. So they should look, they basically, they look exactly the same way they would look on yourself. For trying on purposes, we are allowed a small percentage of scaling upwards. So if they shouldn't fit on your head, they will be scaled, but the application will tell you that they have been scaled. They tell you how much they're not fitting for you. So they recommend you to move on to further to different product which should fit better to yourself, because we can analyze your face structure, and we already know the dimension of and the size of the products. So we know beforehand if it's going to fit correctly on yourself or not. And this happens mostly only for sunglasses and hats, because for earrings and necklaces, this problem doesn't exist, because necklaces and earrings always fit on yourself. It's just a matter of styling. And for shoes, it is another example altogether, because shoes always fit, but they have different sizes. So the model is always the same, but the application tells you which is your correct size based on an algorithm. And for rings and watches and stuff like this, there is no need, because the scale of the product is always 1-to-1, so it's a real scale.
Oh, okay, so sounds great. So, I mean, when is that going to be ready? What's your strategy? Are you going to start with one thing first and you go to a B2B group?
Okay, so
for example, I'm just saying, are you going to a company to start this, or actually, what's your strategy?
Okay, the iOS app is basically ready, so you can try. I was trying to show you, but it is better if I send you a video later, because it is quite difficult, to show you the application and working through FaceTime to Skype. So the application that we have enables users to see sunglasses, hats, and earrings like Snapchat filters. So you have your phone in front of you, and the model sticks to your head in real time. Okay. So we are ready to launch in Q4 2020, and we will. Our strategy is to acquire as much brands. So we have already started our brand acquisition, and we will develop for them the 3D models. So if they don't have them, we will do them ourselves. And then it is a fashion e-commerce. So you, as a user, download the app, purchase the products, and then the brand ships the products to yourself, and Habit takes just a commission. In the next year, so in 2021, we will also enable shoes, so sneakers, shoes, and hands filters, so watches, rings, and wrist watches. It is
great. Thank you.
It is way simpler if you see it than if I try to explain it to you, because Habits is a very it's a very visual project. Okay, so if you see a video, it just takes 1 minute to understand. Thank you very much.
Great, thank you very much. We'll move on to the third project, FreeMark. I have a question on more on the pegging. How do you construct the basket? Is it based on history? Is it ever changing, or it is static? That's number one. And number two, I still don't quite understand. You have a trust backing it, right? Just an example. If you have oil and gold as two, just just to make the basket simple, two products, right? So if on day one, if gold is 1,000 and oil is 20, and you do 50-50, right? So your coin starts at 100. And on day two, oil goes from 20 to 100, and then gold goes from like 1,000 to 2,000. So all of a sudden, everybody wants to redeem mark against fiat. So would you have enough money? Because you would have the value would have gone up by 4 or 5-fold and more actually.
Right. Okay. So, basically, we have a history of all the commodities, and so we have a nice chart. For all 20 of them, it goes back about 17 years for the particular market units that we're in, like Chicago Mercantile Exchange, etc. So we understand the volatility and the exposure that we have, mostly to hedge against a commodity an increase in valuation. You would use options, and so you have an allocation for your exposure. Again, the exposure is reduced because each commodity is only 5% in our case. Now you have asked, so which is important because because if it changes 20%, which could, then basically that's 1 penny out of a dollar for a particular currency. Now, returning to your other question about whether these commodities is a static allocation. Well, frankly, we started out, and I preferred to have it basically weighted each, and we have a weighting now. You can see it on the app. It's 5%. We would like to weight maybe 7% for the least volatile of the commodities and 3% for the most volatile, and have this change. And then we have a group of 3 or 4 other commodities that, if they're less volatile than any of the 20, then they would be automatically switched out, again, outside of anyone's control in an audited way that this commodity. But when you're a sophisticated investor, but to be frank, in the beginning, I mentioned this in our white paper, but in the beginning, we kind of needed to keep it simple, because if I get into the nuances of the weighting of each commodity, I mean, people are already saying, "Wait a minute, how do I make money if the price goes up?" And then, or if the price doesn't go up, So I got to get to the important points that have to be our message before I get into the the nuances that you, as a sophisticated investor, can comprehend. So by having a weight on each of the commodities, we do have the capacity to automate that to reduce the volatility even more of the currency. But we do have an exposure, and so it's not a game. Our success at managing this fund and the currency prudently will determine the goodwill that we create and the eventual value and the merit that the free mark is held and the esteem to which it is held. So this is the challenge of establishing a financial firm, which is to do good business. And if we can do good business and provide people hedging of their commodities, and importantly, it's an international medium of exchange. And these are other things that I could talk to you about. Again, I had 5 minutes, so these are very all important to you as a sophisticated investor. So, but providing this defense of people's purchasing power is a job. When you bring your car to the mechanic, he's got to fix it. And so he's got to do something. He's got to create a value or give you a value, and our value is hedging, is providing people defense of the wealth that they have. Okay, so that to answer that question. What was your other question again, Sheshan?
Yeah, the other questions like what is the ratio? I guess the capital ratio of the trust to the coins outstanding. So it's
Right.
almost like the trust is like a bank, right? So if there are 10 billion of the currencies outstanding, if everybody comes there, okay, now give us $10 billion. So how much wealth is in the trust? to pay out $10 billion.
Right. Okay. For the first 25 million in capital we raised, we put 65% of every free mark sold into the trust. From between 25 million and 250 million, we put 90% into the trust, and above 250 million, we put 95%. Okay, so now again, I emphasize that behind the U.S. dollar is zero, or behind the sterling is zero. So those guys don't have any wealth that gives their money intrinsic value. So we hope, because of the nature of our royalty function, that people will value the currency more in spite of an inherent risk. So the risk, because it's 65%, if it's called a bank run traditionally. If there's 65% of the wealth is in the fund and everybody wants their money today, that's pretty rough, and so we will have trouble. So we have to have convince our user base that they will benefit by keeping their money in the currency. Now, so important to this is this liquidity issue. Now, if LA tokens were to list us, for instance, and imagine that you're making an investment in an Ethereum coin of some kind, so you think that coin's going to go up. So let's just say you keep your money in free marks for a moment, and you decide to invest in this Ethereum. So you go out in this Ethereum coin, you go out of the free market into the Ethereum. The price goes up, you make your money, you got to bring it out to a counter trade currency. Now, a lot of people use the Tether or the dollar, but what you really want to do is put it into free mark, where you're going to earn this royalty function, because that's going to be a lot better than a dollar. So the liquidity function, the requirements, as you understand, are really important. But as you can understand how, when we interface, for example, an MT4 trading application through brokers around the world, and they start saying, "Wow, if I want to make an investment in a Deutsche Bank or Barclays or Intel." Let me make my investment after analyzing the value of the share, and then I'll when I make my money or lose it, I return to the free mark, where I'm going to get a little royalty, and I don't have to worry about it. They don't have to prove me, and so the idea is that, wow, this is a really valuable thing for investors globally. So this could drive adoption. Other things that you would appreciate as an investor, a sophisticated investor, let's just say that we are successful and we attain $100 million in assets and people are buying it. I can go to Goldman and say, "Hey, Goldman, I'd like you guys to invest $200 million. And they go, $200 million? We've only got $100 million you've raised. You want $200 million? I say, "Yeah, I want you to manage it for a royalty upside." Of course, now they're down on the curve, so they're not going to get 15 times, but they're going to get a nice little royalty, and they're going to know where the money is because they're still managing it for us. Okay, so this is an incentive for them to get exposure into a digital currency, to earn a royalty with an intrinsic value of the money. Okay, and so we have a nice ramp up opportunity. I give you another example. This is Standard & Charters. I met with the head of their venture arm, and basically there are banks that would love to loan out money that is inflation protected, so that the borrowers are bearing the exposure to inflation. And these times especially, people are really going to be concerned about inflation, sophisticated people that understand after decades in the fields of what that exposure means. So we've got some significant advantages as a sophisticated digital currency that has wealth backing. And these things can drive our adoption and use in mainstream marketplaces, both for financial assets plus for buying and selling goods and services, as we're beginning with our intellectual property items. Does that help? Does that answer the full question, or did I miss anything? I think I missed something.
Yes, I think it does. Okay. I guess to close out, thank you very much. And Elena, what should we do now? What's next?
Thank you, Shashank. Thank you so much. Actually, I think we are finishing. Igor, would you like to say something?
Don't hear Igor. You still there?
Can you hear me?
Oh, there
Can
you
you hear me?
Yes,
Yes.
yes, we can.
Thank you everyone for participation in this event. I heard, well, also, well, 3 fine projects. I will not give my opinion here. Well, I heard your, well, we have respected judges here for this project. We have all the contacts of these projects. So if there will be more interest in participation in this project, in any kind of investment, we have this contact for now. Also, we have Launchpad pages for those projects already available on our platform. There will be, for some projects, later added buy buttons here as well. So in technical side as well, I would like to add that this meeting, I think, is much better in terms of technical side. So all sound is clear and everything went well, as well as I see. So thank you very much for this, for participation in this event today. And I will be glad to, well, we will be glad here in LATOKEN to organize more events like this, to communicate, to connect more people together on panel discussions, on pitch sessions, to communicate in this era that we see, well, that is very different from the world that we lived, well, a week ago or maybe 2 weeks ago. So thank you very much again.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you,
Thank
Igor.
you.
Thank you, Elena. Thank you.
And Kevin, I just want to say I want to wish you well. I hope that you recover.
Kevin is healthy. Is this, who is this, Christopher?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm healthy. I just prefer to be reclined.
Okay, well then you've given me a
I
very,
love it.
well there you go. There's an illusion right there. Thank you.
Yes.
Pitching
Maintain
in
your
style. There we go.
It's one of the conveniences of homework. So
Speak to you soon.
Oh.
Thank you, guys.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Thank you all and stay safe.
Thank you very much.